Everyone, take 5 sips of water right now. You're probably dehydrated and don't know it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So these last few months I've been working on graduating college and starting my internship and just figuring everything out. And now that I have had a couple months to just relax and settle in to life post-grad, I've been able to read again. Now, last time I checked in, I think it was book recs based on song recommendations or something along those lines. And at that point, I had only read, I think, 3 books since the beginning of the year. I think I'm gonna start from the end of May up until now. In the last 2 months, I've read 2 audiobooks and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 physical books. So that would be 13 books in total. Me, my best friend, and my sister went on a camping trip at the end of May after I graduated. And I brought this one along with me, Our Infinite Fates. I'm very excited that I was able to read this. I think I brought 3 different books on this trip and I read all of them either on the trip or fairly after that. And those 3 books were also Firekeeper's Daughter, Our Infinite Fates, and Ballad of the Last Dragon, Our Infinite Fates. This one was so good. I read it so quickly. I think it was in like 3 or 4 days. It follows this main character named Evelyn, I think, yes. And she can remember all of her past lives, and all of them are cut short before her 18th birthday. But it's not because of natural causes. It's because in every single lifetime she runs into the same person. She can tell they have the same soul in every single lifetime. This person just explains to her every single time, I can't tell you why we have to do this, but we have to. It has to be done. We have to die before we turn 18, whether that be under their own circumstances or by each other. And so that just sets it off for heartbreak in the very beginning. But it's also the journey of figuring out, why is this the case? Why do they have to do this to each other? And why can't Evelyn remember, but this other person can? So it was very good. If you like really sad books, and I feel like every YA has an aspect of coming of age and learning who you are as a person. So if you like those general themes, I would definitely recommend this. Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. I was halfway through this when I started the camping trip that I went on. It's almost 500 pages. So there's a lot in here, but I had already kind of been reading this through my last couple weeks of my school semester. So I think that kind of slowed it down for me. I was halfway through this and then I decided to read Our Infinite Fates, and then after I finished that one, I jumped back into this and finished it. It has aspects of thriller, romance, mystery, fiction, just general fiction, but it also touches on things like grief and, again, coming of age, knowing oneself. There's a lot of different stuff going on in this book, and I really recommend it. It does take place in very northern Michigan, very close to the Michigan-Canada border, and it follows a local Ojibwe tribe and a girl who is not officially in the tribe, but her family is connected to the tribe, and so her battling with her identity of how native is she, but also how is she not, and like just her trying to balance different things in that aspect. A lot of drug-related incidents happen in her town, and she runs into a agent and she gets picked up into this case, and so she's trying to figure out who is causing these incidents and what is happening in her local town and tribe. Very, very good. The last 100 pages were wild. And that is all I will say. This next one is so good. So originally I had discovered this author while scrolling on Instagram, and I think one of her posts were boosted or sponsored or something. So I was scrolling through Instagram reels and promo for this book popped up, and it just sounded exactly like something I would be interested in, and that is The Ballad of the Last Dragon by C.A. Farran. This one is so good. I've heard some other reviews about this that say they might not like it for certain reasons, and I can see that, but I love it too much to agree with them. It's fantasy, it's romance, it's D&D inspired, it's quests. It follows a lady bard named Syl and her journey of, once again, figuring out what she wants to do in life. Isn't that a common theme amongst everything I read? She's trying to be known for her singing and for her performance, and she has not had an easy life so far. And so when this group of travelers and adventurers comes into the tavern that she's local to at the moment, she overhears their quest intentions and she decides to hop aboard and join their group. It's her kind of deciding to put her trust in these guys that what they're following is actually going to turn out and her be able to make a living from this. But it's also a Grumpy Sunshine romance with one of the members in the group. So there's a lot going on. It's very good. If you like D&D stories but with a more cozy twist, this is definitely something you'd be interested in. I will say it also does have quite a bit of spice in it, so if you are not interested in romance, this might not be for you, but I love romance, so this is really good. Yeah. Also, just the relationship dynamics between everybody in the group too, and like their friendships and how they interact. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I'm wondering what time it is. I haven't checked in a couple hours. The next book I have is nonfiction. Oh, I have a bookmark in it. That's fun. This one is The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This one was very nice to read as well. It talks about abundance and how using what you have in the fullness of what it is, but also reciprocity in giving it back to the people around you in your community, and just relying on each other in that way as well, and not wasting things and not taking or giving too much, but just finding the balance in everything, and how that connects to the serviceberry and other indigenous practices. And it was very nice and refreshing to read. The next two are coming in a pair because they're a series. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. This is just, it's the type of YA book that I find myself really liking over and over again. You hear the cicadas? I think that's what those are. They're so loud. We're gonna keep going. Maybe. There we go. It's just the type of YA novel I find myself attracted to the most, and I will give more examples of the type that I think fit in with this category. And it doesn't really have a specific genre, it's just the vibes I'm getting from these books that I just feel so connected to the main characters, and it's so easy to read, but also they're going through such dark topics as young adults, and it's just very interesting to see what life choices they make and what connections they make and relationships they make, especially as someone who grew up and not really socialized too much. I didn't really do too much in high school. I went to school, I hung out with friends at school, I came home, I read, and I indulged in social communities online, such as like YouTube communities and like BookTube and all of that. So just hearing different experiences of different types of people, and it just opens up my mindset to just be considerate and kind and aware of everybody else's circumstances no matter what. It follows Aristotle as he's growing up in the 1980s during the AIDS pandemic, or AIDS epidemic, I don't remember which one it is. He became friends with this boy named Dante, who is openly gay. And so it's their relationship as they become really close friends, and also their dynamics as they are discovering who they are as people, as they go through trauma, as they experience life, all of that. It's very, very lovely. And then also, I read the second one, Aristotle and Dante dive into the waters of the world, and it picks up right where this one ends, and it continues with the story, and it's just, you get to see more of their parent dynamics, how each of their parents act, and it's just so wholesome and rewarding to see that there are good parents out there as well. So yes. Water break. I really want to go outside and do some hammocking, but I have no trees around my house. These two were so good. I have the third one, my TBR for this upcoming month, and that is the last one in this trilogy. I had no knowledge about these books before they were recommended to me, and I'm so glad I picked it up and read it. I loved them so much. The first one is There Will Come a Darkness, and the second is As the Shadow Rises. These are kind of set in a world that's similar to like ancient Greece, ancient Israel and Egypt, and kind of that like coastal town with a sea in the middle, but also just like the architecture and the people in general, which I find super interesting myself, but with a fantasy twist. It's a typical fantasy plot of there's a prophecy, who's gonna fill the prophecy, there are some hiccups along the way of how it's understood, and just what it takes and who it takes to fulfill this prophecy, or to not fulfill the prophecy if best be. It follows 5 different characters throughout both of these books and the third one as well, but she does a really good job of balancing who needs to be perceived at what point. And so I think that she did a great job with that. I also really love how she's written the different character relationships. There's multiple different romance subplots in this series, and I love all of them. I think there's 3 or there's kind of 4 going on right now, which I love. It's also, I know sometimes in series you can get lost with different character perspectives, but this one I feel like I can understand pretty well and recognize who is who, because sometimes characters are just not different enough to where you can recognize that, but she did a really good job with these, so I definitely recommend. Let's talk about the audiobooks first before I jump into these last ones. So I did read Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. This is the second one I've read by her. I have previously read 7 Year Slip, which I really did enjoy, and I also listened to that one on audiobook as well. So I knew I liked the audiobook narration. This one was very interesting. She always has a magical realism or fantasy-ish aspect into all of her romance novels, and this one is the main female character and the male main character, they can hear each other's thoughts, which was very interesting. And they have to do something together to break this curse, but at the end of it, they're like, do we even want to break this curse? And it's just their whole character dynamic. And in the beginning of the book, she doesn't know who she's talking to, but he kind of does. No, he definitely does. If you like Ashley Poston, please try this one out as well. The next audiobook I read was The Secret History of the Rape Kit. I think this was by Pagan Kennedy. I think that's her name. It's a very short read. I think it was 200 pages or less. Very, very interesting topic of how the rape kit came to be and what it was used for, and the different versions of it, and the history of the woman who invented it. Very, very interesting if you're interested in sociology or feminist topics. Very cool. This one, I didn't really know how I would rate it. I'll show you what it is. It's Great Big Beautiful Life. It's Emily Henry. This This was the last one I had to read before I was fully caught up, and now I am fully caught up again. So I didn't know how I would think about this, or how I would feel about this one compared to her other books, because I know most of them have like a somewhat literary theme, whether that the characters work in the industry or they're somewhat involved in it somehow. And I know this was going to be the case for this one because they're both journalists and they both are nonfiction writers. I did think that was an interesting aspect, especially since I took a feature writing class in college this last year. So I know a little bit about it. It ended up being really, really good. I really, really liked it. I think I gave it 5 stars. The main female character, she has not written any nonfiction books so far, but she has been a journalist for celebrity news and all of that kind of stuff. And so she tracks down this, she used to be a celebrity, she kind of still is, but she disappeared. She's off the radar, and she has been for decades. And so she tracks this woman down, and she wants to start doing a book about her and her life and just clear the air about her history. But she finds out that there's this other guy who is also in the ranking or in the lead to do this as well. This woman makes them do a 1-month trial period to see who she wants to choose as the author of her biography. There's that going on, but there's also, it goes back and forth between the female main character's perspective and also kind of laying out the story of this female celebrity as well from Alice's perspective. I thought the romance was really well done, not too over the top. Miscommunication was not the main trope between these two people, and if it was at any point, it was resolved fairly quickly, which I really enjoyed. Second to last book we have, I've been wanting to read this for the past like month or two, and it is a translated novel, and that is I Who Have Never Known Men. I knew a little bit about this going in, but not too much. I knew it was slightly dystopian, but I had no idea how long it would be set in this setting, how long certain things would last, and what the outcome would be. Yeah, it's tricky to describe, but basically it follows the main character of a woman who is underground, locked, imprisoned in a cage with 39 other women, and they are watched over by guards, and they have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and one day she is able to escape and lead these women out of the cage. And it's very interesting because that's really all the premise that we're given on the back of this book, and that alone intrigued me, but also the fact of like, well, what are they doing? Are they gonna find anyone once they get out? How did they get out if the guards are doing their job very well and they're scaring these women into complacency? But also, like, is there an underlying message to this? And it's just very interesting to read, especially since it was written in 1995. It was very interesting to see why it gained popularity 30 years later. I really did enjoy it. It took me 2 days to read. It's a little under 200 pages. Yeah, it's just really good. Really, really good. And then this last one unfortunately doesn't come out until November, but I am very glad that I got the chance to read this as a advanced reader's copy. So thank you, Penguin Teen, and the connection to the bookstore I work at. This is The Secret Astronomers by Jessica Walker. This is a young adult, kind of graphic novel, kind of just regular fiction novel. It is written kind of epistolary, but in notes written back and forth between these two main characters. This girl finds this old astronomy book in the library in their school, and so she starts writing notes in it. The other character is introduced, and she finds this book and she's like, hey, I actually need to use this for class. Can you stop damaging this book? This is useful information I need. It's a very cool story between these two girls. One trying to figure out more information about her mother who has passed in the last year, and then the other who is just trying to get out of this town and who wants a life past this that is meant for her, that she wants to lead in astrophysics and all of that kind of stuff, which is super, super cool. So it's them trying to figure out what happened to one of their moms and just the whole history behind their town, but also their lives as high schoolers in all of this. And it was very interesting. It's written in a very interesting format. Yeah, it's just written back and forth. There's a bunch of really cool art in between as well. So show some other pages. But yeah, it's really, really cool. I really recommend checking it out once it comes out. Very beautiful book, and I'm excited to see how much it gets picked up by people, by the public, once it's out. So definitely recommend that as well. All right, everyone. I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for showing me patience over the last couple months as I kind of take a little break, take a little breather, and find myself again in my reading habits and reading hobby. Let me know what you want to see next. I have a couple of videos that are going to be coming up in the next month that I'm very excited for. If you have any recommendations for me in the future of what I should read, let me know. If you have any video ideas or anything you want me to do, I would be open to listening into your ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yes, have so much fun in the last month of summer. Read as much as you can before everything else starts, work, school, whatever. And yes, happy reading. Bye.